As Jenny said, I'm the generosity chair for this year. I started out the first half of the year as treasurer. And I'm going to do the easy part of presenting this information to you today, but the person behind all the numbers and doing all the number crunching and the slicing and dicing is Jim Crane. So I just want to thank you, Jim, for doing all that. And if I could have you hold your questions until after the service, Jim and I will both be available during coffee hour to answer any questions. And then, of course, you could always email or call us if you have anything after the service. I'm going to first start with 2023 and give you, it's up there, give you an update of where we are. We are actually in really great shape for this year. Our income is running about $25,000 ahead of what we forecasted. And some of this is timing. Some people gave earlier in the year, but a lot of this is actually due to people, we call them non-pledge portion of our donations. People that didn't pledge have really increased their donations this year. So we are extremely grateful for that. And our expenses are running about $14,000 right now, less than we had forecasted. About $7,000 of this we know for sure is going to happen, and then about $7,000 is still could be savings or might be spent, but we're looking in really great shape. So for 2024, our theme is nurturing spirit, story, and service. And I just want to go over our mission. In Christ, we are called together as a community of unconditional love to provide spiritual nourishment, to share God's love through active service within and beyond our church community, and to be responsive to the needs of our ever-changing world. Each one of us is part of our church's mission. Our story becomes LOUCC's story, which then becomes a part of someone else's story. And who is part of LOUCC's story? We touch so many lives. It's the person attending service on a Sunday morning. It's the child that is in our church school that's learning about Jesus' love. It's the recovering alcoholic that's attending an AA service in our building. It's the person driving by on Country Club that sees our signs and feels welcome. It's the family that's experiencing houselessness and is eating a meal that's provided by our volunteers. It's the refugees who are receiving medical care paid for by the donations from our members. LOUCC touches lives near and far and in many ways that we will never know. And together, we have a ripple effect into the world. So for 2024, we want to continue that impact in the world through nurturing our spirit, story, and service. We break out our expenses into the different areas of church life, our mission, our worship, our community life, and our spiritual growth. And we categorize our spending into each one of those areas so we can see how we are supporting LOUCC's mission. The total budget, I forgot, for Hopes and Dreams is $371,000, which is about a 13% increase over the prior year, over 2023. And when we categorize the different expenditures, some areas fit nicely into one category or the other, like worship goes into worship, but things such as Jenny's salary or the building gets allocated between the different areas of our church life. So in worship, we want to provide dynamic, relevant, meaningful hybrid worship services that help us connect with spirit and find hope for our lives. That's in person and online. Provide opportunities for nurturing spirit and community through sharing of stories, music, and contemplative practices in worship. And engaging our children and youth with meaningful ways to participate in intergenerational services and learn the stories of our Christian faith. For spiritual growth, we want to continue to offer meaningful opportunities for spiritual growth of all ages through centering prayer, dwelling in the Word, sojourners, book discussions, small groups, intergenerational gatherings, etc. We want to provide a spiritual learning environment experiences that encourage our young people to build community, connection, and learn practices of faith such as prayer, hospitality, and service. We're going to collaborate with Beit Havarim and other faith communities on projects and programs to nurture our learning and our growth. And just real quick, yeah, that picture, just so you know, is a picture of people attending our contemplative practices group that's led by Leslie Selkin. So thank you, Leslie. In our community life, we want to enable connection and story sharing through coffee hour, church-wide connection events, small groups, nature-based outdoor activities. We want to nurture community among teens by providing regular times to explore faith and have fun and participate in social justice activities. And we want to sustain responsible stewardship of our church buildings and grounds. We're going to make improvements that support our commitments to inclusion and justice, such as gender-neutral bathrooms, which we've been talking about for a while, but this is going to be the year we're going to get that initial design done. Safety improvements and removing the awful black plastic that's buried in our soil. And just real quickly, the slide before that just was us volunteers that helped remove ivy and other invasive plants on our grounds. So for missions, we want to discover new opportunities to serve our community by listening to our leaders, activists, and stakeholders in our community and building new partnerships, for example, hunger fighters. We want to continue to serve our community through ongoing partnerships with the Emerge Interfaith Movement for Immigration Justice, Respond to Racism, Operation Night Watch, and LOTSOM. And this picture, just real quickly, is a picture of some of our members that went out and served meals for Operation Night Watch. And we're going to continue to tithe 10% of our donations to 5% to the UCC's wider mission, and then 5% to local, national, and global organizations that work to address things that are near to us: anti-racism, LGBTQIA inclusion, earth justice, and other social issues. We want to educate and empower the congregation to adopt earth-friendly practices and be the voice of hope in environmental issues and the climate crisis that affects us all. So I just went through a whole bunch of things, but that's only what could fit on our slides. We do so much more at this church, and we're just limited by the amount of space we have on the slides and amount of time we have. But for 2024, here's how the numbers lay out. And the growth factors in expenses are salaries for our hardworking staff. We need to save for sabbatical coverage for Jenny when she goes on sabbatical in 4 years. So there's an amount included for that. We want to host more church-wide connection events. And again, investing in the inclusion through the initial design of our gender-neutral bathrooms. And then we have some improvements that we need to make to our building and to our grounds. We need to replace the front doors, fix a leaking roof, fix some light poles, and remove that black plastic. So next week, you will receive a copy of our 2024 plan, along with a commitment card. We invite you to support our missions by making a financial commitment for 2024. And by making a pledge, it really helps us make our plans for what we can do next year. So we really appreciate those of you who pledge. And we appreciate all the gifts. So LLUCC's story would not be possible without you and your generosity and support. So thank you for your generosity and for being part of our community.